Hello, I'm Magic Mike, and today I'm going to give you an intro to mycology. What do I mean? Well, here's 6 fundamental rules to help you grow mushrooms the right way. Let's get it. Rule number 1. Spore syringes, store-bought liquid culture, and spore prints are inherently dirty. Always treat them as if they were contaminated. It's just the nature of how they're manufactured. It's almost impossible to eradicate all mold and bacteria in them. You can get clean ones, but most of the time there's something hitching along for the ride. So no shooting them into grain, no shooting them into liquid culture, and for the love of God, no Uncle Ben's. Sorry, Peter. Rule number 2. Keep it simple, stupid. Mushroom growing is a lot like baking. Follow the recipe and you'll get the result you want. Deviate from the plan, however, and you can get anywhere from not intended to total disaster. Learn what's vital to the recipe and stick to it. Don't deviate from the basics at the beginning. Things like gypsum and coffee are frivolous, unnecessary, and don't impact your grow. Also be aware of new updated information as well. Speaking of unnecessary, Martha tents. As a beginner, stay away from Martha tents. A fully loaded tent will not solve your contamination issues. Contaminated spawn is the primary reason as to why your mycelium stalled. Improper conditions are secondary. It's also harder to dial the conditions in a Martha tent. It's great for oysters though. Rule number 3. Contaminations happen at all levels of growing, but it is usually due to improper tech or user mistake. Stop blaming genetics. Don't take it too hard if you lose the contamination. We've all been there. Take a step back and assess your situation. Speaking of contaminations, mushroom spawn can look decent and smell good, yet still be bacterial. It's even worse with liquid culture, which can present itself as crystal clear with pillows of mycelium and still be laden with bacteria and mold. So if you cut corners in the beginning, it's a good chance you have bad spawn. Question to ask yourself: did I follow the tech right? Did I cut corners anywhere? Am I using clean spawn? Is my sterile technique good? Is the information I'm following good? Questions not to ask yourself. Are the genetics any good? Is this dealer's spore syringes sterile? Would I get a better yield if I just added manure, gypsum, insert ingredient here to my mix? How do you prep grains without a PC? Or anything related to Uncle Ben's? Rule number 4. There exists a ton of misinformation out there. The job of knowing what works and what doesn't has been played out over generations of growers over the years. Stick to tried and true methods such as the PF Tech or Agar, and don't get sucked into the novelty of things like Uncle Ben's. All-in-one grow bags are overpriced for what you can do by doing it yourself, and it's really easy. Uncle Ben's is not a tech. Uncle Ben's is such a high contamination rate, you can't see through the sides, the rice is too wet, should be considered a novel way to grow and nothing more. Consider this. This is you and you need a diaper. You have 2 choices, Huggies and plastic wrap. Sure, the plastic wrap might work, it might even do the job. But we all know it's likely to fail and make a mess, so why are we going to apply that same logic to mushroom growing? It doesn't make any sense, and I've heard a lot of raunchy bullshit out there like coconut water and liquid culture, adding tryptophan to substrate, Capri Sun is a liquid culture, and so much more. Just be aware and use your common sense. Rule number 5. Learn to do nothing.
Nothing.
I know you want to mess around with your grow if something's amiss. I do it. He does it. Everyone does it at some point. Learn to slow down. Take the time to assess what you're doing to see if you're actually making an impact or if you're just panicking and hurting your mushrooms. As a beginner, it's really easy to become overwhelmed by starting many projects at once. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is your knowledge base. I know you want to spawn to bulk real bad. Just trust me. Chill out, stick to the PF Tech in the beginning, and learn how to make spawn. You can always spawn your cakes if you like later. Rule number 6. At the end of the day, depending on where you live, it is still criminalized in some parts of the world. So if you're a little kid trying to get your cheap drugs and cheap thrills, then all I gotta say to you is...
stop it. Get some help.
That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.